Hello, I'm Sab John Edathattil, professional screenwriter and story coach, and welcome to my academic review of the much awaited film Soorarai Pottru. This is purely an academic review that is conducted for the screenplay and the story. Please understand that this opinion is not to woo any audience because you have to watch it and assess for yourself. But at the same time, I'm actually thrilled to conduct an academic review because I was influenced well by watching this movie, especially the story. The story has been supported by real life incidents, of course. At the same time, the story also is well crafted here for the movie because I could see continual challenges and conflicts and growth of those conflicts through the entire story, which actually is, I would call it a very clinically organized story with its varied kinds of characters, varied kinds of story world blended together and made well as a platter to the audiences. This is what I want to say first thing about the story. The second is about the characters. Though the protagonist character is very clearly portrayed and the likability is well sustained through the traits, the very other weaknesses and strengths of the character, I would say that this character, the protagonist, is very well supported by a crowd of subplot characters or supportive characters. This is something which I like about this whole setup because every character has a very definite objective to the story and that actually works. Whether it is emotional, whether it's dramatic, whether it is antagonistic or thrilling, the characters serve their purposes. So I would say that this is a very, very clear exercise of clear-cut characters. Though the numbers of characters are well contained, at the same time, the basic character traits of each of these characters are identifiable, can be tangible very well, and you can connect with them and they serve their purpose of being there in the story. So this is something that I gravely appreciate. And the third part, very impressive at it, is dialogue. There could be a mix of many different types of dialogue that you could identify here, but at the same time, every character who plays or enters the dialogue is very convincing and credible. And there is also a mix of the variety of dialogues that you could, and most of these dialogues are off the nose, and it has got subtextual meanings that is always playing around. So I would say that dialogue plays a very important role to captivate the audience's interest and engagement. The fourth is structure. I don't know if the structure was preconceived or post-played, but any which way, the structure actually really worked to continually take the audiences to the emotional trip. I would say specifically that this is one of the major pointers that I find in this kind of storytelling, where the structure is always given the thrill and engagement value at all times, which is a great, I would say, an output for a screenplay. And the fifth is visuals. I would say this is exquisite visuals which is written, which is executed well, performed well. I would say the actors also played a great role to connect to the visuals in their action and the dialogues. So I would say the visual narrative is so very captivating. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything that is within the story. So I would say visual also played a great role in here for executing the screenplay well. Now, one major thing that I want to tell you here, I would say that the 3 points that I specialize here to communicate with you, share with you, is one, throughout the screenplay I could see moments. The moments actually create great emotional output to these audience segments, even when this is being watched individually. So that plays a great role. The moments inside the scene in many different levels. So when we learn more about moments, I would say this is a great example. This movie is a great example of creating moments through and through the screenplay. That's one thing. And the second is, it is a fine blend of this is one thing I really wanted to tell you. While I was watching this, I realized that there is a fine blend of the mainstream exaggerations or universalities which is required for a combo of the actor and the kind of story that has been envisioned. At the same time, the specificity of this story is clearly identified or made to be comprehensible to the larger segment of the audiences. This is something is very crucial in this kind of a movie, especially when it is supported or people expect so many things from an actor like Suriya. But at the same time, this exaggeration or this expectation is met very, I would say, intelligently, connecting the grassroots level audiences' interest and engagement values. This is absolutely wonderful in this movie. And the third point is about the overall output of how the screenplay has been executed well. This is again something connected with the production facilitations and the combined whole of the entire crew that has worked well with what has been written in a screenplay and the story. I think this is all that I wanted to say right now because it's the first day of release. I don't want to say too much about what is inside the story. I don't want to spoil the story. You yourself can watch it and assess for yourself. And it was a great experience for me even when I was watching alone on my computer screen. Thank you very much for watching this video and see you in my next video.